next 10 minutes, we'll talk about apes and monkeys. Does anybody know how to tell a monkey from an ape? Yes?
A monkey has a tail and an ape doesn't.
Very good. Monkeys have tails. There are a couple exceptions to that. A couple monkeys without tails. Baboons are one of them. And it looks like they lost the genetic information for tails. And that's what we see sometimes. Animals lose information. Like there's some beetles that lose their wings. And then generations after that don't have wings. What we don't see is evolution where new information, new things are coming about. That's what evolution requires. What we see is devolution, things disappearing. Apes and monkeys are both designed with 4 hands, so their feet are hands, and they can grab things. Where grabbing things with your feet is pretty tough. I like to grab things with my toes sometimes, but monkeys are a whole lot better at it. There's 5 types of apes. There's chimpanzees, bonobos, and gorillas, and they all live in Africa. There's orangutans that live in Indonesia and Malaysia, and 16 species of gibbons, and they live in Southeast Asia. There's about 200 species of monkeys, and they live all over the world in the warmer climates. And there's almost 100 species of lemurs. And anybody know where lemurs live? Yes? Yeah, Madagascar. And gorillas, they were designed with incredible strength. They're about 10 times stronger than a professional weightlifter. And they the males get up to 600 pounds, and females get up to 300 pounds. The biggest monkeys are the male mandrills at about 110 pounds. And smallest monkeys are only about 4 ounces, the pygmy marmosets. And the smallest lemurs are only about 1 ounce. That's called the mouse lemur. Maybe some of your older kids have gotten into DNA. You studied DNA yet? Yeah. So every cell in your body has DNA that's the instructions for how each one is designed. And you'll hear sometimes anybody hear that chimps and humans have 98% the same DNA.
No, I can't.
So that gets said sometimes, but you know, chimpanzee DNA is actually 13% longer than human. So it can't be 98% the same if it's not even the same size. Well, what they're looking at is just 2% of the DNA that codes for proteins, and that little bit is 98% the same. But the other 98% is very different. And it makes sense that apes and humans need the same proteins, to build things in our bodies and do jobs. But it's the other 98% that they said was just junk DNA, but it's not, that defines us as humans. But even if it were 99% the same, the DNA code is 3 billion letters long. 1% of that would be 30 million. It would mean 30 million mutations would be required in a highly organized and beneficial manner. Even that would be ridiculous. Mutations are random and not beneficial from everything we've seen. Yes?
Is that in the book?
I don't think so. But, if you go to like creation.com or Creation Magazine, there's, I don't know if it's in that issue, but you'll see things about that sometimes in creation.com or the magazine.
Thank you.
And there's a special if you want to subscribe to it.
Okay.
Answers Magazine has lots of information online in their magazine. So there's two options on how we got here, two beliefs. One is the general theory of evolution, and that says that everything magically appeared. That's spontaneous generation of matter and energy. And then life magically appeared. They don't use the word magic, but that's what it is, because there's a law of science, the law of biogenesis. It says life can't start on its own. It only comes from pre-existing life. So once God created it, then He designed it so that it just replicates. And we all reproduce. So the other option, special creation. God tells us that God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and livestock according to their kinds, and everything that creeps on the ground according to its kind. And that's what we see. Monkeys always make monkeys, people make people. And God saw that it was good. And then He said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God He created them. Male and female He created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the earth, birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. Now evolution tells us that we're just animals. And that leads to a lot of ugly things. Even right here in Forest Park in 1904 at the World's Fair, they brought in a man from Africa named Noda Benga and said that he was some kind of ape man and put him on display. And he wound up getting put in a Bronx Zoo in a cage with an orangutan. But God tells us the truth in the Bible. We're all descended from one man and one woman, Adam and Eve. Then more recently from Noah and his family. Everybody is about 150th cousin. So if you go, everybody in the entire world, we're about 150th cousins, so we're closer to this. And that's genetic studies keep bearing that out. And it's amazing surprise to evolutionists, but science always confirms the Bible when it's done right. If any of you want to become a scientist, understanding creation is going to help you in your job. It'll give you an advantage over people that believe evolution. And so Bible tells us we're made in the image of God. Each one of us is knit together in your mother's womb. And each one of you was planned out. And before He even created the world, He knew what each one of you was going to be, how He wanted to make you. He had that planned out from the beginning. And He has a purpose for each one of you. Evolution says that there's no point to life. Everybody's just a product of dumb luck, but we know the truth that God loved us and created us. Well, that's our talk on apes and monkeys. Does anybody have questions about that or just anything in creation?
You said it was 13 billion mutations? Is the difference?
About 30 million mutations would be required. And that's not just 30 million mutations, it's the 30 million exact ones that you want. But evolution is random, so you would need probably for every one, you would need millions or billions that it would try out and fail. And so if you do any kind of math analysis on it, it's just ridiculous. But that's if it were 99% the same. It's actually in the 70s or 80s, so it's many times worse than that for evolution.
The evolution of the evolution of creation, that thing has all of this.
Okay, is that Gary Parker maybe? Or Joe?
Maybe, yeah, Joe.
Joe Martin?
Oh, no.
Or was it 13 something longer? The one you're supposed to be.
Change are about 50% longer.